Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 186, Soul Elevation. And this is the first advanced process that we are going to talk about from the toolbox that is angelic reformation. Enjoy.
You're listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show. The statements and advice offered in this podcast are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition, and are not substitutes for prudent medical care offered by licensed medical professionals. References to healing or treatments in this episode are describing faith-based blessings performed by God and the Master Healing Angels. Neither this episode nor any part of it may be copied, transcribed, distorted, sold, republished, or distributed without first receiving the express written permission of both the CMA International Foundation and Up and Awaken Productions.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical podcast. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you, you are an eternal soul having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. Enjoy it. This is Season 8, Angelic Reformation. And this is episode 186, Soul Elevation. This season is all about the body of knowledge known as angelic reformation, which is what we call the tools, processes, and rapid spiritual development work that has been presented through the teacher, Master John Douglas, by his companions, the Master Angels. It is about the intentional, rapid evolution of your consciousness. It's a set of spiritual development tools that anyone can choose to use alongside any existing spiritual practice, religion, or tradition, if desired. If you have not yet listened to the first 2 episodes for this season, please go ahead and listen to episode 168, Angelic Reformation, and episode 169, The Evolution of Consciousness, before listening into this one. Now, if you are ready, then let's get meta. Master Angels, I humbly request your presence, guidance, and support through this episode. Please let these words be useful to all listeners on their evolutionary journeys. Let me know the truth, speak the truth, become the truth, and be the truth. And please let this episode reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with full faith. Bless creation. Today we are discussing the soul elevation process, a 25-minute MP3 audio process that is considered one of the advanced development processes in the cadre of tools that make up angelic reformation. It has 2 periods of silence within it. And most of these advanced development processes are the longer ones. This is the first advanced process we are talking about. And the other ones are also 25 minutes long to an hour and 6 minutes long. And we will get into those in later episodes. Here's the description of soul elevation from the globalcma.org website where it can be purchased. The Master Angels have provided us with advanced evolutionary development and historic revelation in the pursuit of consciousness development. Firstly, the aspirant receives a virtuous soul infusion of evolutionary perfection and goodness from divine center. This tremendous power purifies and perfects various levels of our existence, propelling the aspirant deeper into awareness, realization, and consciousness. The second magnificent blessing in the soul elevation process is the soul elevation directed prayer. The soul matrix is empowered by the divine with advancing status and structure to elevate the destiny of the aspirant to previously unattainable levels. Now, that's a lot. Even just speaking that, my mind is getting blown from even reading those words. It is a very high level of consciousness to understand and know the blessings and experience of this process. It's difficult to put into words, and it is best understood by experiencing it. And yet we will have a few testimonials in a moment here where people do their best in explaining how soul elevation works for them. And again, these transformations and blessings are brought about by listening to this 25-minute process. You are simply pressing play and listening. This is a compact, time-bound spiritual technology given to us by the Master Angels through the teacher, Master John Douglas, and it is available to anyone. All of these processes are available to anyone with any draw or interest or feeling that this would help them. You're not physically doing anything like eating or dieting or talking or going to therapy or running or smoking something or exercising. And all those things are things that you can do. But this is listening. This is pressing play, becoming comfortable, and listening. Here are a few testimonials from people who enjoy the soul elevation process.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I live in North Carolina and I've been using angelic reformation processes since 2020. During that time, I've had many profound experiences with the soul elevation process and wanted to share some of those with you today. During one of the early events I attended, Master John talked specifically about the soul elevation process and said that it was a great way to increase your worthiness and goodness so that you could find solutions and develop your relationship with the Master Angels through scanning and being able to communicate with them. And I was so excited, I wanted to listen to it all the time. To have something that so profoundly reformed you in a way that it aligned you with your own soul and gave you better access to divinity and to be more one with divinity. And through the years, I've found that to be so true. After listening to the process, I've walked away with the exact solution I needed for a work problem or logistics or something with my life. And have also found that sometimes conflicts of my life have just completely resolved and gone away like they never existed. And things with someone that I had struggled with had just completely gone away and were fully harmonious. And I've also found that this process helped me to approach difficulties from a higher, more divine perspective and to be more loving through the processes that shaped and evolved me. I am so grateful for this process and the many, many ways that it has affected my life and has shaped where I am and how I approach difficulties and challenges and blessings.
Hi, I'm Georgia, and I live in California. I've been using angelic reformation tools since about 2015, and I'd like to share my experience with the soul elevation process. I was blown away when it first came out. It was like a complete spiritual buffet meal. I felt like this one CD could take me everywhere. I felt a visceral upgrade to my whole being was happening, like some sort of spiritual surgery of the highest order. All the processes do this, but in this particular process, his giving us soul infusions, allowing us to recognize divinity at a higher level, and that we have been given an evolutionary leap through this is beyond extraordinary. It has remade me into a better human being, I think, and given me a perspective of the enormity of the gifts that are being bestowed on us and to be faithful and responsible for those gifts. When I'm working with clients or having difficult conversations with people, if I can remember a few of the mind-blowing words and energy from the soul elevation process, like your soul bliss is becoming you, or you will be receiving the secret faculties of the soul, everything else seems less important than that. And I've observed then how these previous conflicts will dissipate. There are no words to express my love and gratitude to you, Master John.
Hi, I'm Kabir. I live in California. I've been using angelic reformation tools since 2016, and I'd like to share my experiences with the soul elevation process. Whenever I listen to soul elevation, which is often, it's incredibly soothing and empowering. It calms me and centers me and infuses me with strength and self-assurance. During the silences of soul elevation, I feel these energies coming into me that are deeply fortifying and soothing. And when it's over, I feel very peaceful and like my poise has been restored. It's also a really mysterious process. I know that so much is occurring for me during soul elevation, specifically in those silences, that I have no understanding of whatsoever. Things are being given and embellished and reconfigured that are totally beyond the scope of my mind. And it's sort of exhilarating to know that. I do feel that I'm being given something that seems otherworldly. I'm being gifted with energies and blessings that are not of this place, that are coming from this sacred and deep and cosmic source. I love that soul elevation is so mysterious. I love receiving these infusions that I don't fully understand, but that I can just sense and feel and deeply appreciate. I believe I'm receiving more than I could ever dream of through soul elevation. And that is such a comforting thing to know and to remember. Thank you.
And a big thank you to those who shared their soul elevation experiences. And with these advanced processes, it really can be more and more difficult to put your experiences into words. And these guys did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for that. I am going to jump in now and try to put my experiences into words, and we will see how that goes. Soul elevation is one of my favorite tools. It always has been since it came out in, I believe, 2019. Is something that always makes me feel clear after I've listened. It also allows for information and guidance to come in while I'm listening to it, mostly during the 2 silences that are embedded within this process. Sometimes I am asking for help on specific things, and other times guidance just drops in effortlessly. Another thing I have noticed with this process is that I often get great ideas while I'm listening to it. And by great ideas, on any area of my life and any of the projects that I need to do in my day-to-day experience, sometimes I will be listening to this process and get a download on a direction I need to go, or something that seemingly comes from left field, but what I experience it as is the clearing out of stuff, taking up my mental space through the use of this process and allowing the divine guidance that is ready to drop in to really come into my being and allow me to be aware of it. This has happened several times. And that's kind of the hallmark of this process for me. It's not like I don't get divine guidance in the other processes. I do sometimes, but this one, it's just kind of, for me, what this process denotes and how it brings its blessings in for me in a way that I can see them and feel them, and they are tangible. Now, this is one of the advanced processes. As we mentioned before, there are a few other advanced processes that will be mentioned in future episodes. Most of these advanced processes are all 25 minutes or up, and they are considered advanced, I think, not only because of their longer length, but also because of the myriad of developmental evolutionary processes that are happening while the process is playing, while you're listening to it. And again, something that is easier to understand when experienced and more difficult to understand when it's being told about, when it's being talked about and shared. But I think, again, that I and the folks who shared their experiences before are doing as well as we can under these circumstances. It's like trying to explain how a rainbow looks to somebody who's never seen colors. It's a little bit like that. That's the analogy that's dropping in right now. Best experienced if you are interested. It always gives me a peaceful and empowered feeling while I'm listening to it, and just leaves me feeling very clear. And actually, while I'm talking about it now, I often play it in the background while I am doing other things, but it is best attended to while you are sitting with your back straight, your feet on the floor, you close your eyes, and it is one of the processes where it actually says to do that, and you get the best benefit from doing it that way. All the processes are a little different, and this one is one that is best attended to exactly how it is told to be attended to within the process itself. The gifts and blessings given during this process, and really during all of the processes, are new spiritual technology that has not been given on the planet previous to these tools. And so, again, explaining them is one thing, but experiencing them is another. In our previous episode on emotional repair a few episodes ago, you are able to hear that process within the episode itself, because that is a free process that is available to anyone. And I'm so curious to hear from folks who listened to that and what they felt and experienced, because it is really something that you just need to do. You can watch people ice skate all you want and not really get the whole sense of it until you do it yourself. So, soul elevation process costs $150, just like all of the other processes. It is suggested to be used once or twice per week, but it can be used as often as you like. This process is also not to be confused with another process called the soul repair process. Soul repair and soul elevation. Soul repair process is one of the ones that is recommended for use every day. It is a really excellent process to begin this type of work with, and it does a whole different cadre of things for the listener. Each process bestows incredibly specific blessings unique to that process alone. Why? Well, we use different tools for different needs. We would not go to an ear, nose, throat doctor for heartburn, for example, just like we wouldn't put a Band-Aid on an upset stomach. That's not going to help. Similarly, there are specific spiritual tools for specific spiritual development areas. And that's why we have soul repair, soul elevation, health repair, psychological repair, the food repair disc, the home harmony device, etc. So all of these tools do different things. Just like your regular toolbox in your closet, you have a screwdriver, you have a hammer, you have a level. You use these tools for different things. Together, it's a nice, useful thing to have in your closet when you need help with something. And you can think of that the same way for these sets of tools, spiritual development tools. Every tool does a different thing and helps you develop in a different way. You can't use a screwdriver if you are trying to nail a beautiful picture up on the wall. It's not going to work as well as the hammer. Same with these tools. So these angelic reformation tools are available for anyone interested. Use your own discernment. There could be a specific tool that's calling to you. If you're still listening to this season, There's probably a reason why you're listening. Some of these things might be useful for your development, useful in your life. They're also very practical. Using the free tool emotional repair, for example, can help you before you go into a stressful meeting or a situation with a friend that has been causing you anxiety. That's a free tool that you can use just in an everyday, grounded way to help your experience and to help you with that situation. So for those who want to dive deeper, there are these other tools. Soul elevation really is for people who are looking to advance spiritually. They want to get more out of their earthly experience. They want to develop their consciousness, to evolve their life path. That is what soul elevation does. So it's not going to call out to everyone to do that. But you might be listening and hear about subconscious repair and think, wow, subconscious repair, that's something I really could do for myself. I'm feeling called to that. I know that that would help me. So again, if you are still listening to this season after, I think this is maybe the 20th episode of this season, it's been going on since March, there is a reason for you, probably, why you are listening to this. So if you haven't tried the tool that's reaching out to you, I suggest maybe trying it out, or try one of the free tools. Emotional repair, the karmic repair process plays 3 times in a row every day at globalrepair.com. The last episode was about the prosperity blessing. If you need more prosperity and abundance in your life, that's a free video that you can watch that inexplicably and undescribably and unfathomably brings prosperity into your life. So each of these tools does a specific thing, many specific things in a specific area of your life, and helps you with that. So soul elevation helps you with just that, elevating your soul to new levels of being, new levels of consciousness, levels that you haven't attained yet in your soul's journey. Why? It has the blessing to do that, and it's available now. So I am going to leave it there for today. If you are interested in looking into any of these tools or finding out more, visit globalcma.org. And again, I'm not getting anything back from doing this season. This is something that I am sharing with the world because I'm being called to share it with the world, and because it's helped me so much. There are other people out there like me who are looking to evolve their consciousness in the most efficient way possible. You can take a whole lifetime or lifetimes or hundreds of lifetimes or thousands of lifetimes to evolve. That's the normal trajectory for a soul. These are tools that help you to do that faster. If you want, it's a choice, and it's available to anyone who is interested. If you feel called to leave a positive review for the podcast, please do. If you're getting something out of this, you can leave a 5-star review with a positive word or 2 on Apple Podcast or Spotify. It really does help the episode reach the people who do need to hear it, who this would benefit on their soul's journey. As always, thank you for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up, and Awaken production and is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The Let's Get Meta podcast is inspired by angels and supported by angels. If you would like to be a patron angel of the podcast, visit patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical.